Bacon, wrestling, and living. Could you imagine being, I don't know, an Eddie Guerrero, Jimmy Super? Oh my God, I'm getting so nervous with saying the names. Yes, yes,
Superfly
yes,
Pizza.
yes. You know what? I love watching him. I love watching him as a kid. But can you imagine being one of the greats, or turning around and having to tour not only as one of the greats, but one of the guys that puts his heart and soul into this and wants to not just be one, but be an amazing one.
100%.
So, what do you say we bring somebody on that's going to give us an inside look of your hopes and aspirations and future dreams?
Let's do it.
Man, you know what it is? It's another week here, another day, another moment to show some love and give us inspiration, aspiration, and motivation. Because you know what? The voice of power, I think he's going to run the show today. I think he's going to run everything today because he's been more motivated, more excited about this interview than any one of the other ones. So much motivation that you know what? Melody turns around and says, "You know what, guys? Bye. This
Wow.
one's all bacon. This one's all bacon." She took the night off tonight. She decided to go and have a girls' drink with the girls, and Bacon's gonna he's gonna fanboy a little bit. But before we continue with that, let's bring on our guest. Look at it. It was like, no, no, yeah, yeah. Let's bring on our guest. Hello, Mr. Guest. How are you?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody feeling today?
Yeah, we
Oh, we've
good.
got a huge pile on, and blessed to have you here with us tonight. So, Roosevelt, you're not just what we've gotten to see from you, but you are also an Army veteran.
Yes. I served in the Army around the time when 9/11 happened. I went into basic training August of 2001. I was there when 9/11 happened. I was in Fort Knox, Kentucky. I was only in for like 2 years. Once they say, "Oh, you can go home," I did not I did not argue with them. I was like, "All right, well, two words: I'm gone."
Oh,
I,
no.
that must have been an experience.
Yeah. The biggest thing about that when it happened was we thought we was going to get mobilized, and I was just like, "Yo, I just got here. Like, what am I supposed to do? I just got here. Like, I can hold my own, but who am I holding my own against? You know what I'm saying?" So it was a lot, and I'm from New York, so I still had some family still in New York when it happened. So I was more so like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, is everybody okay? Things like that." And I was actually in the hospital when it happened. I was in the hospital and I was sitting in the waiting area, and I looked up and saw like the news reporter on the TV screen. And I thought it was actually a movie. I looked at the guy next to me and I was like, "Oh man, what movie you watching?" He said, "Nah, this is really happening." I said, "Happening where?" And he was like, "New York and in DC." And I said, "Nah, ain't no way. Like you playing with me right now, man." And he was like, "Nah, this is really happening." So it was definitely an experience to see, an experience to be in the military when it happened, and to not know, what the next step was going to be.
Damn.
That's definitely an eye opening and I'd like to say intriguing, but maybe more fearful moment in life to be in the army.
Uh, well, for any regular human, and I use that term very strongly. Yeah, it's a fearful moment for me. I've never had any fears, so I wasn't afraid. I was more so of, all right, what do I need to do? What am I supposed to do? Where do I go from here next? What happens to my family in the South? What happens to people that I know in New York? You know what I'm saying? It was like my mentality was, all right, what is next? That was just it. What is next? Do I need to go ahead and start getting some guns ready? Do I need to contact family? Where do we go from here? So that was my mentality.
No, that's good. That's good. It's wow, definitely something to think about. We weren't. I was not aware of anything even close to that. You were in the army at that point. That's
Yeah,
definitely
Me, wow,
mind.
damn.
yeah, absolutely. What about you guys? How did you guys feel when that moment happened?
I was actually at work, place I was working at the time, and I was putting some bags of concrete into a customer's truck, and we have radios inside in our warehouse, and the guy happened to be listening to the same station, so through his truck we were hearing about stuff happening in real time, and I remember everybody at work just stopped what we're doing, and we just listened to everything that was happening on the radio, and just like people were trying to make calls, and calls were getting through. It was yeah, it was something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What you guys?
No. For me, I was actually in a meeting. We were secluded for some business changes that was happening in the company I was working at. And one of the guys, he was in the army at the time, but he had a bit of a drinking problem. We get out of the meeting because we were told that there was an emergency happening nationwide. So we get out, we go see what's going on, trying to get on the news. I go look at my buddy, and he turns around and says, "Oh, those Americans." I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you drinking at work?" Them Americans, somebody finally got them. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Because we didn't know. We finally turned on. I was working at a retail store, and we put all the TV screens on, and we're watching everything step by step as it's going. We locked down the store. Everybody was in complete chaos, fear, trying to figure out if we should go home, we should stay, who's going to go do what, what's going to happen. We ended up shutting down about an hour afterwards and sending everybody home just to be safe.
Yeah.
But it was very sad because at that time, I had an uncle that was working at the World Trade.
Mm,
And we didn't hear from him or his family for 3 days.
mm,
When we finally heard from him, he's like, "Listen, I'm okay, I'm alive, but in the meantime, what do you do?
right.
What do you do? You're waiting to hear, you're waiting to find out." But it was definitely not a pleasant moment for anybody in North America, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing about it too was when when everything started coming out and people started talking about it, I'm like, yo, this is not the first time. It's the first time we got hit with planes. It's not the
Hmm.
first time that the Trade Center had been attacked. You know, the first time was like 90, 92, 93, somewhere around there, when a bomb
Yeah,
happened in the
something like
bottom.
that.
Yeah, and it knocked out all the TV systems and whatnot. So I can talk about everything in terms of that. With you, we don't
No,
we don't want we don't want Big Brother and everybody come looking knocking on our doors
you
and
got
whatnot.
that right. But moving forward, we noticed that you were also an MMA fighter.
So I train with MMA. I've trained in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but I've done some boxing. I
Okay.
started off training as a boxer, and the funny thing is, the reason why I got into boxing was I used it as anger management. I had some anger issues from nothing serious. Just I was just mad for no reason. It was more just the New York attitude. I was just mad for no reason, and I went in there and I was like, well, let me use this as a stress reliever. Let me use this as a way to control my anger. I didn't have any issues in terms of not being able to control it, but going into early adulthood, I didn't want to get to a point where I lose control and not have the ability to just bring myself back if I needed to.
right.
And the moment I started training, it didn't work. it, it got worse. I found out really fast that I was a perfectionist when I started training and doing the punches and learning like the cardio and the breathing aspect. Every time I messed up, I got madder because I was like, I shouldn't be messing up. I should be able to catch on to this really quick. And that helped a lot in terms of knowing who I was, figuring out who I needed to be and who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I kept working, kept training, kept working, kept training. And my very first sparring session, I thought that you're supposed to go into a boxing match or a sparring match mad, like going there and ready to kill the guy that you sparring with. And uh, so I called the lady I was with at the time, and I said, "Hey, say something to make me mad." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm about to go spar. Say something to make me mad." She was like, "What do you?" I said, "I don't know. Just say something." I don't know. Why are you arguing with me? Just say something to make me mad. She's like, "I don't know." Never mind. Thank you. Click. Because you done made me mad because you didn't give me what I was asking for. And I got in the ring and the bell rung and I went in there and I was swinging so hard and so fast at this guy that he was like, "Hey man, calm down, relax. We're working together." And I just kept going and he gave me one good swift punch right in the ribs, and it happened as I was throwing a punch. So I threw the punch, and he hit me here, and I said, "Hey, come here. I want to apologize for what I had, because all of that was it wasn't necessary. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And I learned that, and he told me, he said, it was a humbling experience. And he told me, he said, if you hurt the people that you're sparring with, you won't have people to spar with.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I understood it. And from there, I just started training more. I started training other people. I had my one and only fight in New York. I did a Golden Gloves boxing tournament, and went out there and had fun. I enjoyed myself. I didn't win. They gave it to the other guy by 1 point, but it's fighting. You don't expect to win all of them.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then after a while, it was like it started getting boring. The guys I was sparring against and training with, they were like 200-300 pounds, and I was only 150, and I was moving around them like I was better than them. They were been in it longer than I have. So it got boring for me because I wasn't getting any fights or anything like that. So after that, I got into doing some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, just learning that. And then as I was doing that, I got into professional wrestling.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
And I still train with boxing. I still train with Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I still do some taekwondo. Actually, I had Muay Thai training this afternoon earlier today with one of the guys that I do stunt training with. We do movies, and we're actually working on a movie right now. It's the Birds of Prey fan film, and I play Bronze
Oh,
Tigers. So we do some stunt training, some choreography, and things like that. And the guy that is in charge of all of it, he has a Muay Thai fight coming up at the end of the year. So we did some stuff like moving around, some sparring, working on some techniques and things like that. So I still do it, man. I'm still at it.
okay. Okay.
awesome.
Now, before we veer off into the biggest reason having you here, I was looking at a video that you do the Bruce Lee 1 inch punch.
Yes. Yes, I did.
How much training did that take, and more importantly, how satisfied were you when you completed that?
So it took honestly zero training. I had no training, and the guy that was actually holding the boards for me, he runs a Taekwondo school right here in North Carolina. He's one of the guys that does the stunt training and the movies and the choreography with us. And I told him, I said, "Hey man, I want to try this." And he was like, "Why?" I said, "I want to see if it's really like if I can do it." And I said, "What would be the best way to do this?" And he's a fourth degree black belt. And he said, "I don't know." It's a technique you can't train someone to do. It's a power that's within you. And he said, well, if you're gonna do it, you just have to do it. You just have to try it. And I said, all right, well, let's see if I can do 3 boards. I want to see if I can get through 3 boards. And he was like, okay. And he grabbed some boards and he said, well, try 2 first. He said, you ever try to break through boards? I said, I've never tried to break boards at all, ever. And he said, usually what they do is you have spacers. So if you have like 3 boards, let's say the 3 boards of my fingers, there's space in between the boards so you could break through them. I had them connected to each other. So it's one solid thing. And he said, whatever you do, just Go for it. You might hurt your hand, but if you're successful, hurt hand is nothing because you know it's worth it.
Mhm.
And I said, all right. So I gave it a try. I broke through the two, and I said, all right, give me three, because two felt so easy. And we did three, and I broke through it, and I was like, you know what? I think I could do more, but I'm gonna try another time. And he's like, all right. So we went in and we tried five. I was like, three was easy. Let me throw two more. And tried five, and I didn't get through five. But then I said, all right, take one off, and we got through four. So I did the 1 inch punch with four boards. And he looked at me. He said, "Man, I can't tell you how to. I can't train someone how to do that. That's something that you just have to be able to do." And he said, "The fact that you've done that is like freak of nature type stuff." And he was like, and now I've gotten to a point where I've watched videos of other people do it. I've watched videos of Bruce Lee doing it. I'm looking at the technique. I'm looking at his stance, how he sits in
Yeah.
his stance, and kind of puts his foundation really strong. The breathing aspect, the channeling all the energy from one part of your body into your arm and your fist. Like it's a lot to go into it. Like I'm a big Dragon Ball Z guy. I'm a big Goku mentality. So my mentality is always, if Goku can reach Ultra Instinct, so can I, and that's where I'm going with it.
Wow.
Nice.
A lot of people would don't seem to recognize how much that goes into attempting something like that. Like it's like you said, it's you can't be trained with that. Like you naturally have to have that or you don't,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
it's one of those things. I commend you for that because a lot of people seem that they don't want to test themselves to see how truly strong they are. They feel that they maybe can't do it, but unless you don't try, you'll never know.
right.
So that's
The biggest heartbreak that I have right now, and the biggest thing that I have to accept is that I'll never find out how truly strong I am, because every time I break my limits, every time I reach to where I'm like, okay, I can't get past this, and I pass it, it's like, okay, well, how much more can I do? And every time I exceed my limits and exceed, it's like, okay, I don't think I have a barrier. I don't think I have a wall. I'm just going to keep going and keep going. So the biggest thing is I had to accept, and it was hard to, because I was like, I want to get to a point where I'm strong.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, well, now you're a lot stronger. Now you're a lot faster. Now your technique's a lot bigger. Like I'm 43 years old and I just learned how to do a backflip off a wall because I saw somebody else do it.
damn.
You know what I mean? The 1 inch punch actually is funny. I was at a show yesterday. We had a wrestling show in Lumberton, North Carolina, and Caprice Coleman from AEW Ring of Honor, he was there. He's a good friend of mine, and he used to do the 1 inch punch in his wrestling matches. And there was another guy that was there who was also, a new wrestler, and he does a 1 inch punch as a finisher. So
Mhm.
Caprice grabbed me and he was like, "Hey man, he does a 1 inch punch. You do the 1 inch punch. I've done the 1 inch punch. Let's see whose 1 inch punch is better." So we grabbed one of the guys from the locker room and was like, "Yo, take this punch and see whose
Yeah,
punch is
yeah,
heavier."
yeah, yeah.
And the guys didn't understand it at first until we started doing it, and I won.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine was a lot more impactful than the rest of them, and the guys were like, "Yeah, we wouldn't take no more than one of Roosevelt's 1 inch punch compared to you guys." And like theirs was great, it had some power to it, but nothing compared to mine.
Yeah, that's so. Doing a little research about you. You did a little bit of shoot fighting.
Yes, I was the AIWF shoot fighting champion. Um, I love doing it. I love doing it. I love the ability to. I mean, it's a work shoot fight, but it's
Right.
still shoot fighting, and I love to have the ability. I'm always in the mindset of I'm going to make this look as real as possible,
Right.
and having a chance to have a match where you can do some shoot fighting, you can't get no realer than that, except unless you get into a UFC cage or something. And with everything going on with TKO and the mergers of UFC, WWE, all the different companies and different backgrounds and genres of combat fighting, I like being able to showcase that I can do that. If you need someone to step in the ring with Matt Riddle or a Kyle O'Reilly, I can do that. I can go hand in hand with them, no problem. if you need somebody to do some wrestling matches with a lot of technique, catch wrestling with a Daniel Bryan or Cesaro or whoever, I can do that too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a well-rounded individual. When I first started wrestling, my name was Mr. Everything. And I told people I was Mr. Everything because I have the acting background, I have the modeling background, I have the MMA background, I have the boxing background, I have the wrestling background, I have the military background. I have it all. I'm the one-stop shop for your company. So that's where I'm at.
So I'll walk in robot commercial. I like that.
Yeah.
So I guess my question, my top of the head, what really inspired you to want to do like all these things? And is it something you just want to prove to yourself? Is it like an interest at the beginning? Like how did you like just come up and decide that, hey, I want to do this?
Well, I've always watched wrestling as a kid, and when it got offered to me to be able to become a professional wrestler, I jumped right on it. Like I didn't waste any time. I was like, yeah, I'm getting into this. And especially with the boxing was getting really slow. And once I got in, I realized how much fun it is.
Yeah.
And how much opportunities I've had. Like I've been all over the US. I've just recently went international last year. Like it's an amazing feeling. And for the wrestlers, it's an opportunity for us to escape the real world and just have fun and change our mentalities and release stress if we need to, things like that. But then on the other side of things with the fans, I've had fans and grown men and grown women come to me with tears in their eyes, talking about how much I've made them feel like nothing else mattered. How much how emotional I made them from watching my matches. How much I made them feel like they can do whatever it is. They can do anything. Anything's possible in their world because they've seen me in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? If I can motivate people to be better just from the smallest thing, it's a win for me. No matter if I win or lose in the match. Seeing someone come to me and say, hey, man, I really enjoyed your match. I forgot everything I had going on outside of here by watching you. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's an awesome feeling. Like, I can only imagine. Like I've been a wrestling fan as far as I go back as I can remember with my grandmother and stuff. And I was able to take in some of your matches before this interview this evening, and just as how you're describing the feeling that people got, that's what I got from watching you. And I've kind of heard of you before, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. So when I started looking into some of your stuff, and I was like, whoa, this guy's been with like ROH, WWE, and all the like WWE is my thing. I've grown up on that. Yeah. So it's like just hearing your story and your little bit of background, what I saw, I just like, yeah, this guy's doing something really, really special. But like I've taken Muay Thai myself, and when I was a couple years ago, and looking to get back into that, so I can kind of relate to the aspiration behind that. So yeah, like I guess what I'm trying to say is that what you do, you inspire a lot of people. And it takes a lot for someone to recognize what they're doing and how they're doing it and how they, I guess what's the word, like pertain to themselves and say, hey, I do this for this reason. And it seems like you have a lot of passion for what you do. So, and I commend you on that, because it takes a lot for someone in a background that you have to really show that real side and say, hey, you know what, this is what I do, this is what I am. Take me for who I am and what I do, and appreciate it. You don't command it; it comes to you, and that's the big difference between doing something you love, right or wrong.
Yes.
So, yeah, I just wanted to commend you on that for sure, because what you're doing is something great, and I need to like look into you more, because, like I said, I barely know much about you, but just looking at what I looked at today, whew, yeah,
thank you.
Your stand-up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And the Roosevelt character. So Roosevelt is my real name. And I just recently started utilizing my real name with wrestling. when I first started, I was Victor Andrews.
Yes, those are the matches I saw with that name.
So I came up with that name years ago, and then just recently, about a year ago, because I work with Sir Mo down in Texas. He's in Dallas, Texas.
I
Sir
saw.
Mo, Men on a Mission.
Yeah, I saw a post with him and you, and with him, and he did a quick interview because there's some package thing he's giving away, or he
Yeah,
had set up for one of his events there. So,
yeah,
men on a
and
mission from back in the day. Wow.
yeah, absolutely. And he's become such a big part of my career. Like he's Unc. Like anytime I call you Unc, how you feeling? You good? What you need? Whatever. And he had me on his show, and he booked me for a show, and they made the flyer, and on the flyer it had my real name on it. And so I reached out to the booker for the show, and I said, "Hey, the flyer looks great, and I'm excited." I said, "But you guys put my real name on there. I wrestle as Victor Andrews." And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me contact Mo, let him know, and we can get it fixed." And so she reached out to him. She's like, "Hey, we made a mistake. We put his real name up there. He goes by." And so Mo responded and said, "I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
Tell him cut a promo and be mad about it." And I've never had issues with promos. Like my promos have always been like amazing. Like anytime I have a promo battle against people, I win every time because they're like, "Man, you don't need to say all that. You don't have to do me like that." So I cut a promo about it, and I cut it as if I was me, just regular Roosevelt, and it was more natural than Victor Andrews. Now, Victor Andrews was always a natural thing for me because I've been doing it for 14 years. But when I did it as Roosevelt, it was like, oh shit. I'm sorry. Can we curse here? Is little okay.
Trying to monetize it because we're on like online radios and stuff like that as well. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So I was like, wow, that was a lot easier. That felt a lot real. I really felt what I was talking about. And so I said, you know what? Victor Andrews has got me a lot of great opportunities. I've been on WWE TV, Ring of Honor TV, AEW TV. I've done some things. I've been in a ring with some legends. Let's see what Roosevelt can do for a while. And once I started doing it, I said, okay, well, I got all this wrestling gear that says Victor Andrews. So I can't do that anymore. I don't have no money to go buy no gear right now. So what do I do? And so whenever I go to shows, I'm always dressed professionally. I always have on a suit, and I show it to the arenas, and I go and I meet the promoter and I find out what I need to do. And a lot of times the guys will come up to me and say, "Hey man, you want to roll around a little bit? You want to get in the ring, do some things?" Or they'll come say, "Hey man, I was thinking about something and I want to see if I could try it," or "What do you think about this?" And I jump in the ring with them with my suit on, with no problem. And they'll be like, "Yo man, you ain't gonna change?" Like, for what? I got a washing machine at home. It'll be all right. I said, I'm the type of dude, you're not gonna get me dirty because I'm not gonna allow it. But we're gonna get in here and roll, we're gonna get busy. And so I say, you know what? Since I've been doing that anyway, behind the scenes, let's see how it looks inside a wrestling match. Let's see how it looks on the show. So now I wrestle in a full 3-piece suit.
Really?
I wrestle in a full 3-piece suit.
Awesome.
Dress, tie, dress shirt, dress pants, and then the wrestling boots. Wow. And the moniker is, when you see me walk to the ring in a suit, just know that I'm standing on business. The moment the shirt comes off, business is about to get handled.
Oh, okay.
And the fans have caught on to it. Like, before I even say it, they're like, "Yo, this dude is in here in the suit. Like, he's not gonna wrestle like that." And I start wrestling, and then we're doing the things and whatever. And then when the shirt comes off in the middle of the match, I hear people say, "Oh, it's about to get real now." He took off his shirt. Yo, dude is in trouble now.
Yeah.
You better get out of there. He got his shirt off. And all bets is off now, man. You better. So it's been an amazing thing. Like I went to Germany, and I've never been to Germany before. I've never been to this company. The fans never heard of me. And the moment I walked through the curtain in my suit, they stood up. and was clapping and cheering. I was just like,
Wow.
yo, I got him. I haven't even locked up with the person I'm in the ring with, and I got him.
Yeah, you got him.
It's the
That's
energy.
awesome. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's like when you're doing something when stuff like that happens and it's like, wait a minute, you didn't even touch the ring yet, and you're looking around as you're walking down the aisle, and wow, that
Yes.
must be a feeling that you never forget. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely, man. And like I said, being wrestling in a suit is cool and it's so easy. And some of the guys like, yo, man, I don't want to have a match with you. I'm like, wow, man. And it used to be, he was like, yo, they got to get their cardio together. I've had guys who are phenomenal athletes, and I'm like, yo, man, I would love to have a match with you. Let me get my cardio together, and I get back to you in a couple of months. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? And now they look at me in the suit and they're like, nah, what you're not gonna do is come in looking like you just came off a magazine, beat me up, and then walk out still looking like you just came off of a magazine. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. I told the guys yesterday, I said, imagine getting in a ring with somebody that look good as me and get beat up like this. In fact, don't imagine. It's happening tonight. Yeet.
You got the whole look and promo put together. That's right there. And for the fact that you get people who are athletic and everything else saying that they gotta work on their cardio and then they'll come talk to you in a couple of months. That must be good for the psyche too. You know what I mean? So
it gets annoying sometimes, man, because I'm like, it's not that serious. Like I'm not gonna destroy you. But then I go back and I look at someone on training videos, and I'm like, okay, I understand a little bit. But I tell people like the way I train, I only train that way for me. I don't expect anybody to come and train with me and do the same things I do. Yeah. I do that for me. Yeah. Again, my mentality is I'm Goku. There are thousands and millions of people that are stronger than I am, that are faster than I am, that could go a longer distance than I can. I want to be that person to be ready in the event that happens. So I train crazy. I have this thing called the hangman. You know what I'm saying? Cliffhanger, which I'll hang upside down by my legs. I hang upside down on a pull-up bar by my legs, and I reach down and I grab a straight bar that has 250 pounds on it, and I pull it up to my chest, hang it upside down. Sure. And then people be like, "Yo, why? For what? What reason? Why?" And the real reason, let's say if by chance I'm in a building, they get ready to collapse, the person that I'm with gets ready to fall out of the window. We've seen it in the movies, right? They get ready to fall out, and then someone goes and they grab them and they holding them. Yeah. I want to be that guy that's strong enough to pull you back up.
Say a word.
We're on a mountain and so you happen to fall off. I want to catch you and pull you back up. And then people are like, dude, that's not realistic, bro. That's not really going to happen. This is planet Earth. Everything is possible at this moment.
That's right. So, wow. That's some good stuff over here right now. Question. Are you more of a baby face or a heel? So have you played both, or which one's your favorite?
I play both. When I first started, I always loved just being a baby face. I was always like, I want the people to cheer for me. I want the people to feel good. I want to be able to shake hands and stuff like that. Until I got a taste of being a heel, and then I said, I'm never doing a baby face ever again. This is so easy. Like I don't have to do nothing.
Yo.
All right. And then after a while, I've had people say, you're believable as a heel, but you're not. You're too likable. It's hard to hate you, no matter what you do. And I started talking to different people like William Regal, Scott Armstrong, and William told me, he said, no one is 100% evil. No one is 100% good. There's always a yin and a yang in you. Yeah. So then I said, you know what? Let me just toe the line of being in between the both of them. Whatever the fans want me to be in that moment, that's what I'll be. Unless a promoter distinctly needs me to be something. Yeah. I go in there and I'm saying I'm going to be the guy that whether you hate me or you love me, you're going to come and speak to me and take pictures no matter what.
Facts. Wow, that's
So I'm well rounded. I can do them all.
yeah. That's that. Yeah, like I said, I through some of the matches I saw that you're involved with, I see that you have mastered both, the baby face and the heel style, which is something that takes a lot as well because you know fan 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 appreciation, either as a heel or a baby face, it comes with it,
Yes.
and you earn that. It's not something that you're oh, you got to cheer for me. No, you earn that. If the people like you, they'll like you. If they don't like you, they'll let you know. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So that
Exactly.
I understand
Exactly.
fully. So
And it's funny, like fans are so fickle and back and forth. Like they can like you today, and then you get in a ring the next day with somebody they like even more, and like, okay, well, we can't like you anymore because we like this guy a little bit more,
yeah,
or we've seen him more than we've seen you. Like we liked what you did last week, but now you're in there with my guy. Like
yeah, exactly.
so, you gotta be able to fluctuate between back and forth.
Yeah. So where did the name Victor Andrews come from?
So when I first started, uh, I had this really ridiculous gimmick, and um, I was 150 pounds. I was really really skinny, and
Okay.
I had this wrestling name called Vector. Vector is a mathematical term, and
Mhm, mhm.
you remember the movie Despicable Me? The first one, the villain was Vector, and
Yeah.
he said, I do things with great velocity
Mhm.
and intensity. So I said, you know what, that'll be good. I can say, I finished my opponents with great velocity and motivation,
Yeah.
and I went in thinking that okay, Vector would be an android. He just he goes in, you can barely hurt him. He can do all these different things. He can analyze you and figure out how you move and then utilize your abilities against you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got in a ring with these three guys called the Gorilla Squad, who were 6'3", 6'4", and 6'2", no less than 300 pounds. And
Wow.
they said, if I hit you, you're not gonna be hurt. And I was like, nah. And it was like, you think that makes sense in wrestling? You think that's gonna make sense to the fans with your size and our size? You think that's gonna make sense? And these guys like really serious. And I was like, yo, if I punch you in the face, you're gonna be hurt. And I looked at him and I said, not if I punch you first. You know what I'm saying? So then it was like I gained the respect, but then they humbled me down. It was like, listen, man, you have the ability, you have a great look, but the gimmick's not going to work. There's no way you're going to be able to get that over. And it was like, let me introduce you to somebody that's going to help you. So they introduced me to C.W. Anderson from ECW,
Yeah.
and CW was like, yeah, man, that's not gonna work. You need something. You need a first name or a last name and a moniker. And I was already Mr. Everything before I got into wrestling because the modeling and acting,
Yeah.
that's where that came from. And so they was like, yo, you're already Mr. Everything. Why don't you just use that? And I said, well, what do you mean? It's like, just be Mr. Everything. Like, who is Mr. Everything? What did you do? And I was like, oh, it's from the acting, it's from the modeling. I was like, okay, well, build on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, now come up with a good name. And my real middle name is Andrew. So I said, okay, well, my last name would be Andrews.
Yeah.
And it's okay, well, what are you gonna do about it? And I had just got a custom made entrance song. And in the entrance it says Vector, and it kept saying Vector, Vector, Vector over and over and over.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I just got this daggone song. I just paid for it. I don't want to change my music. How do I make it work?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? If you're not really paying attention, it may sound like it's saying Victor. So I'm just going to take the E out and put the I in there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And boom, Victor Andrews came to life.
Wow. Yeah, like your little critiques here and there. Like just you explain that right now, I got Mr. Perfect vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like right away when you're talking about like how everything came about and everything, it's just like, Okay, yeah, but that itself, like building a name, getting your moniker together, and everything else, that must bring out a lot of creativity and obviously originality to your name and how you're trying to present yourself. So, yeah, that's some cool shit, man. That's
Thank
some,
you.
some real cool shit, man. I know I'm dropping f bombs right now, but it's one of those things. Like I've always been into wrestling. I love wrestling. I've been trying to watch more of the indie scene, because that's where all the future superstars have come through, right?
Right.
So it's, as me as a fan, it's one of those things where I can appreciate taking an opportunity to talking like to a gentleman like yourself and really get to know the ins and outs of what you guys do for a living, and it's one of those things where it's wow, like there's a lot more that goes into doing an entrance, coming up with a name, and a lot of people don't seem to recognize or understand that it's not easy.
Right.
It's like we were talking about, like if you have something that doesn't work, that's not going to build you, but
Mhm.
not giving up either will also build you. And that's the vibe I get just from talking with you and stuff like that. So, I commend you for your service and stuff you've done, and hope your journey continues on like that, because like what you're doing is really good stuff, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Mendez, welcome back, brother.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I decided to pull away a little bit just because I know how important wrestling is to my cohort's life, how much it's been a part of his life. So there's moments you have to turn around and say, you know what? Let him have his moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I also host another podcast. It's called The Hot Seat, La Silla Caliente. So we're going to hot seat you a little bit right now.
Okay.
What we do is we ask a series of questions. We don't let you think. We just want you to speak from your heart. However, as they say in the USA, you get one plead the fifth moment.
Okay.
So you got to answer everything else, but there's one thing you get away with not answering. I've had doctors, I've had sex doctors, I've had Sean Paul do this, I've had the guy you see in the yellow hoodie there do this. So we've had people cry, we've had people threaten, we've had people turn around and say, "Thank you for healing me." So we're
Right.
gonna do this. Bacon, today you're starting this off.
Yeah, no problem. Uh,
Are you ready?
yeah, I'm
Yep.
ready. Uh,
Okay, fill it up.
a moment that you can remember in wrestling, either a match or something that you've done that you'll never forget. Well,
Uh, Stepping in the ring for the very first time at NXT and feeling the raw of the crowd, feeling the moment, and being after I lost the match, looking at the ceiling and seeing the NXT sign, and thinking to myself, I wish I had my phone right now so I could take a picture of this.
wow, awesome. Oh man. Oh shoot. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Favorite wrestler to, to be on stage with.
Favorite wrestler to be on stage with CW Anderson, my trainer. Because every time we step in the ring with each other, we push each other. I push him, he pushes me. I first started training, he started showing me different things, and then he started watching me how I move, how I think, and I started becoming his trainer. And he's been doing it for like 30 plus years. And he was like, the way that you think outside the box makes me want to learn more from you as I turn and train you. So we have this thing is you never stop learning. You can learn from anybody as long as it makes sense. And so I push him, and he's got to a point now where he won't come train with me. He calls me a lunatic because, as I was telling your cohort there, I go hard when I train, and it's like I be in the ring for about 4 or 5 hours. In fact, I called one of my guys the other day. I said, "Hey man, I just want to call you, tell you, I love you, I'm proud of you." And he was like, "Where you at?" I said, "I'm in the gym." He said, "Oh, so how long you been there?" I said, "Well, like an hour or two." He said, "Oh, you probably got three more 4 hours to go, aren't you?" And I was like, "You guys know me so well. Yeah, I'll be here for another 3 4 hours."
Nice.
Wow. Um. You must have seen um, Elimination Chamber that passed. What do you think of making John Cena a heel after all this time?
I just sent a promo about that. I have been challenging John Cena ever since he came back last year in SummerSlam, because I want to match with him. I want to expose him as the faker he's always been. All this hustle, loyalty, and respect has been just a moniker, and the only thing that he hustles for is his own pockets. He hustles the fans. He hustles the wrestling business. He's only loyal to himself. He only respects himself. And I want to be able to get in the ring with him and expose him for the fake that he is. When he first started, he got in the ring with my trainer, C.W. Anderson. C.W. took care of him, made him look good, and gave him an opportunity. He's got to give that back. It's got to come full circle. Stop running from me. Stop hiding from me. Stop acting like I don't exist. You see me. You hear me. You see my promos. I know this for certain because R-Truth is a good friend of mine, and he's watched it, and he's liked it, and I'm sure that R-Truth has sent it to him. So stop running, stop hiding, step in front in the ring with me, and let's see who gets busy and who doesn't.
Yo, did this guy just say R-Truth is your boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say R-Truth is your boy?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I do a podcast as well called the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast. We do it every Wednesday.
that was
And
my yeah.
I've interviewed R-Truth on there, and he's hilarious. He's so much fun to be around. We follow each other on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Like, yeah, that's my guy.
Wow, I remember watching him when he was Raw on the Truth Killings and NWA back in the day when he was the champion.
Yeah.
That guy. Stop jokes, that guy, man. And he's doing well for himself. Like he's in WWE, and like they need to give him another title run for sure. Like he deserves one.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's like the butt of the joke of WWE and everything else, but I know he takes pride in what he does, and I know back in his NWA days, like they really never took him serious, and I know they had doubts putting him as a champion, and he proved to everybody that, hey, you know what? Don't watch what I'm doing because you think or you perceive me as someone that can't handle business, and I know he stands on business like yourself. So yeah, that's wow. You guys are boys. That's hey Mendes, thanks, bro. Yep. Awesome. Oh man.
So I'm telling you, Roosevelt, when I first brought Bacon on here to the show, he says to me, "I want to do something with wrestling. At some point, I want to run a wrestling podcast. I want this. I want that." So when I ran into you, I said immediately, "We have to bring you in."
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of, I'm not going to mention any names yet, but there is one more wrestler that we have coming through. We've got the executive producer, associate producer for the movie The Wrestler coming on as well to make my buddy here a little bit happy. However, if there's somebody in the industry you wish would not be around or you could eliminate from the industry to make the industry better, who would it be?
Anybody that is involved with pedophilia. That I just get rid of them altogether. If you're a pedophile, if you are involved in things like domestic violence, we need you out of this business. You have no place here. You have no benefit. We would not benefit from you being here. So we need to make sure that we police our locker rooms. We police this business. We protect our kids. And when I say our kids, if you are a friend of mine and your child is there, I'm protecting that child as if it's mine as well. It takes a village to raise a child, and wrestling is our village. My son goes to me to wrestling shows, and I can go and sit in the locker room, and he can run around the entire arena, and I don't have to worry about anything. My daughter used to go with me when she was young, go with me to shows, and I would go in the locker room, and they were like, "Don't worry, we got her." And this is my very firstborn. And I was like, "Oh no, she can sit with me." And the people were like, "No, she'll be fine." And we need to make sure that we do that. We need to make sure we take care of our kids.
Amazing. I love that.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Awesome. We should get him on one of our next.
Yeah, the wheels are already turning.
Yeah. I was like, wait.
we've got so we have a couple of different series that we're doing. And one series we're taking our time with because it's such a touchy subject is called domestic violence.
Mhm.
We've had one victim come on. The second victim, unfortunately, they're no longer with us. Their lives were taken away. If not, we would have continued with the series. But we've taken our time. We've got one person that's going to be coming by. And well, since he brought it up, might as well invite you publicly to be part of that series whenever that comes up because domestic violence, child abuse, as much as people want to shy away, they want to fear, they want to whatever they want to use to not talk about it, we find it wrong. And we want to
Yeah.
bring a light. We want to shine a light, give an opportunity because sometimes we do have children that watch our shows, and you know what? Sometimes kids don't get the opportunity just to speak or to be heard, or there's so much fear that they don't have that opportunity to even view that there is a life away from all of this. So
Yes.
we're big advocates on that. We're- I love my kids the way Bacon is with children. I love seeing him around kids. And domestic violence is something we are not even close to being okay with. We fight it. So definitely, whenever we start that series back up, we will be reaching out to you if you don't mind. We'd love to have you on for that. So yeah, I'll leave that as in your head for now. But Bacon,
Yeah.
please go
Oh,
ahead.
no, definitely send me an invite. Yeah, I don't mind. I actually work for elementary school here. I'm an instructional assistant for EBS AU, so autistic first graders,
Oh, wow.
and I work with these kids. And, some of them combative, some of them nonverbal, some of them, they have their different, their different issues or sticks or whatever. And the biggest thing that I don't like about my job is that I can't be here long enough to protect them. Like these are kids that are going to grow into adults who won't have anyone to protect them,
Yeah.
and they can't
Yeah.
protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? And my mentality is I want to be able to heal everyone and everything. So, um, I'm going to figure out how to do that. I'm going to figure out how to heal individuals to where they can, especially kids like this, who can grow to become capable of sustaining life on their own.
I commend you on that. That's amazing to hear.
Yeah,
That really touches, to be quite honest.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
that's insane.
Wow.
That's insane. That's what you call yourself, right, Mr. Everything. Yeah. Thanks for calling everything. That's it.
Yes.
Straight. Oh, before we go, one question: who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
The Undertaker was my all time favorite. When I first started training, and they had like this big crash pad outside the ring, and I asked my trainer, I said, "Hey, can I give that a try?" She said, "What?" So I want to do that Undertaker dive that he does, outside the ring. She was like, "If you want to," and I was like, "So how do I do it?" She said, "I don't know. I don't do that. I'm not a high flyer. Like I don't jump or nothing like that." She said, "You just have to try it." She said, "But if you do it, you got to commit to it. Like you can't stutter step. You can't,
Yeah,
just change your mind and admit it because you will hit that rope and you will fall and you're going to hurt yourself. There's no one here to help you or catch you.
yeah.
If you're going to do it, do it." And so the first time I did it, I jumped over and I landed and I almost pancaked myself, like almost scorpion myself. Like my legs went over my head because I
Oh,
landed so high on my chest.
oh,
And I was like, "Oh, that didn't feel good," but I got an understanding of how to do it now.
yeah.
And so when I went and I did it a second time, I landed flat. And I've been watching The Undertaker ever since he came, into the WWE.
Yeah.
And I've actually had an opportunity to sit down with him and chit chat with him when I worked for WrestleMania. I love his facial expressions when I say things like his face is like,
What
"What
hell?
did you say?"
Yeah, because I'm not. Well, I'm not in your caliber. It's like I can understand. I can understand. So just hearing that you sat down with him, just like,
Yeah, so I was in the catering. I got hired to be an extra talent for WrestleMania when Kofi Kingston won the belt.
okay,
New
Kofi.
Jersey. the night before I wrestled Billy Gunn, I defended my title against Billy Gunn. His face is. I defended my title against Billy Gunn. Hung out with him for that weekend. Hung out with Xavier Woods, and then I was sitting in catering. And the Undertaker walked in to the catering area, and I was sitting. I was like, "Oh my, like wow, that's the Undertaker."
Yeah.
Like, I hope he come and sit next to me because I just want that man to just sit next to me. And as he was going through the line, like catering in WWE is amazing. Like they have like this big, just food everywhere, and it's going on from 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. And he's walking, and he's making this plate, and I'm very picky about what I eat. So I had a sandwich, and I had a bag of Doritos, and I had a soda. And he's making this food, and he's got this big plate. He comes walking around, and I was like, I hope he don't sit next to me, because he's making this big man-looking plate, and I got a child's lunch. Like I got a school lunch sitting in front of me.
Wow.
And he came and he sat right next to me. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "How you doing? My name is Roosevelt." He said, "How you doing? My name is Mark." And I said, "Oh, that's really good." I said, "You're one of my favorites." He said, "Oh, thank you. That's really cool." It's we had a little chit chat, whatever. And then Kane walked up and sat down with us, and I was like, "Yeah, I got the brothers of destruction."
Yep.
And so, like, me and Undertaker's conversation quickly ended because then they started talking, and then the Big Show walked over and sat down, and I was like,
"What?"
And I immediately said, "All right, it's time for me to get up because these three large men got these big plates of food and chicken and rice, and I still got a bologna and cheese sandwich and some Doritos. I think I'm gonna sit at the kids' table over here.
Yeah.
Y'all enjoy. Nice to meet y'all. I'm gonna go over here."
That's crazy. Wow. Oh man. Shoot.
You would be surprised, like the connections I've had. Like I've been in the ring with Cedric Alexander. He's a good friend. I'm a good friend with Caprice Coleman from AEW. Like I've known him for years. I'm good friends with Shane Helms, Hurricane Helms. He's from North Carolina. That's where I met him before he went back to WWE. I've been friends with Otis for a very long time. From the match I had against him at NXT, and just being really cool with him. He actually, I was backstage and I wasn't even supposed to do this, but I was talking to my son, and talking to him, "Hey, Daddy's fine." He said, "Daddy, can you get one of the wrestlers to come talk to me and say hi?" And I was like, "No, I can't do that. Like they frown upon that stuff." And Otis and Tucker just happened to walk by, and it's like, "Hey, man, wait. What are you doing here?" I said, "Man, I was trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, trying to get what you guys is at." And it was like, "Oh, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm talking to my son." And they got on the phone and talked to him, and actually, spoke to him. And my son, I think he was probably like four at the time. And he looked at them. He said, "Remember when you beat up my daddy and you slammed him?" And they looked at him and he said, "Yeah, but he's our friend now. Like we won't do that no more. He's our friend." He said, "Okay," because I didn't like that. It's like, don't worry. We gonna make sure nobody bothers your dad. Like he's cool with us and things like that. I'm good friends with Ricky Morton. That's Uncle. I've been in a ring with him. I've been in a ring with Kerry Morton.
Wow.
EC3. I'm really good friends with him. I used to work at Control Your Narrative.
Yes.
Good friends with Austin Aries. I chat with him every now and then. I've been in a ring with him. I've been, doing promos with Braun Strowman when he was with Control Your Narrative. Like I did a promo so well that he wanted to fight me after. he was like, because the way I spoke, he was like, "All right, well, who wants to fight Roosevelt?" And Braun was like, "Yo, I want first."
Wow.
Like if he's talking that big the way he is, I want to see how busy he gets in the ring. And then we didn't get a chance to make that happen because he went back to WWE too fast. But I've been in the ring with Austin Aries though, and had such a great match. It was so much fun. Via Mahan won on WWE Raw. I was one of the Lashley sisters. If you guys remember the Bobby Lashley sisters segment with Sami Zayn, I was Justin Lashley during that. Man, I've done so much with wrestling. It's an amazing opportunity. It's so much fun. And I ain't done yet. I'm only 43. I ain't done yet. When I get to 275, I'm still gonna be world champion. I don't care. I don't
There
care
you
who's
go.
That's
There
awesome.
you go.
That's awesome.
Well, at the end of every episode, we have a moment where we give you the opportunity, our guest, to say his thanks, plug himself, plug what's coming up, links. Make sure you send me your links so we can put them up in the description. And more importantly, thank you. Thank you for making my friend's dream come true of talking to a real wrestler
Yep.
and giving us the opportunity to have you here on our show.
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you to you guys. I want to say thank you to all the fans that continues to support independent wrestling first off, but wrestling as a whole. The guys that you see on TV, WWE, AEW, it starts at indie wrestling. You can check me out on TikTok, official underscore Mr. Everything. You can check me out on Instagram, Roosevelt the Fighter. My YouTube is Mr. Everything. Look up Victor Andrews Wrestles or Roosevelt Conyers Wrestles. See all my videos and things like that. You can check me out on the Best Damn Wrestling podcast. We record every Wednesday. We always have interviews. We have motivational speakers. We have financial speakers. We have professional wrestlers. We got actors. We cater to all the audiences. And thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all for having a platform for us to be able to come and speak to people who may not know who we are. I will be in Canada this coming summer. Laval, Montreal, Laval. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I will be there for Torture Chamber Pro. I work with those guys out there. You've seen people like Kevin Owens and B-Fab. They came out of that school, so I'm going up there to work with the school and work with some of the shows. So shout out to Drew Honest and his crew. And if you guys are in that area, like I said, follow my Instagram and anything like that. And once I get the flyer in and information, I'll shoot it out to you and let you come see me in person.
That freaking boat. I love it. Yeah, like, you know what? I get each and every time to all my listeners out there, we learn, we take in, and we enjoy. Today's episode was a big one for me because I got to meet someone who is definitely down to earth and loves his craft and loves what he does, but he's a man's man at the end of the day. And what I'm going to say to y'all is be true to yourselves, like I always say. Love yourselves, and you can accomplish anything and everything possible. There's nothing impossible unless it's something that you make possible. So just stay true to yourselves, and you be true to others, and people will see you for the power that you have. MC Bacon, salute. You already know. Till next time.
But we had to thank everyone for being here with us. It was a blast. It was something different, guaranteed. But more importantly, like we always tell you, and like I always say at the end of our shows, don't give up. And when you think you're not going to make it, keep on fighting for more. Because whether you're an MMA fighter, you just joined the army, or you're pursuing your dreams, age is only a number if that's what you choose it to be. It should be a moment for you to become wiser, greater, and to be able to, at some point, reach every single one of your goals. Again, I want to thank Roosevelt for being our guest today. It's amazing to be able to give back to our team and have one of our team members fulfill a childhood dream, a childhood moment. And you know what? We'll see you guys on the flip side.